Act like a man. Every man has heard that order. Nobody ever explained what it means. You're about to get the explanation. Not a pep talk, not 5 tips from a self-help account. The real answer, hidden inside one word for 2,000 years. The ancient Sumerians talked about this. The Greeks argued about it too. What's new is how much hate men get for it today. Right now, being a strong man gets treated like a problem, something to fix, apologize for, tone down. But that same strength built hospitals, built armies that protected the weak, built every home a family ever slept safe in. The world didn't turn against men. The world just forgot where its own strength came from. That's the lie we're breaking today. Here's the proof, not an opinion, a fact. The word the Romans used for man was vir. That word is where we get the word virtue. To the Romans, being a man and being a good man were the same thing. One word, one standard. That standard never went away. It just got buried under 100 years of noise. And it comes down to 5 parts. 5 compasses hidden inside that one word. 5 things every man is supposed to have. Power under control, whether anyone ever told you that or not. Most men get 2 or 3 right. They never notice the rest are broken, and the one almost nobody gets right. The one that quietly wrecks marriages, careers, and grown sons who can't even look their fathers in the eye. That one is coming near the end. Stay for it. This is the manual that should have come with the word man. Let's get into it. The first compass is strength. Not the kind you build in a gym, the kind almost no man was ever taught. Here's where most men get it wrong. You were told strength means shutting your feelings down, locking them away, calling it weakness the second they show up. That's not strength. That's a man who never learned the difference between feeling something and being controlled by it. Why does this matter? Because a man who can't name what's going on inside him doesn't get stronger with time. He gets more dangerous to the people around him. Anger you don't deal with doesn't go away. It comes out somewhere else. On a wife who didn't cause it. On a kid who just wanted 5 minutes of your time. Watch a wolf pack for 30 seconds. The alpha doesn't growl at every little noise. He doesn't need to. His strength stays in reserve, not on display. And the pack respects him more for holding back than they ever would for the noise. Same with you. A man who blows up at everything isn't strong. He's leaking. There's another mistake hiding in this same spot. Pride dressed up as confidence. A lot of what people call strength online is just pride with good lighting. Real strength doesn't need an audience. It doesn't need to be announced. The man who keeps telling you how strong he is usually isn't. And here's the part almost nobody looks at. A lot of what you call strength is really just avoiding one question. How did your father, or his absence, shape the kind of man you became? And it doesn't stop there. What you learned about being soft, about whether it was safe to need anything at all, that mostly came from your mother. Most men never trace it back that far. If something you just heard hit close to home, a memory of your father's silence, your mother's absence, or a version of strength you picked up, without ever choosing it, put it in the comments. Not to complain. Share it so other men can learn from it. That's what this should be. Men sharing their stories so other men can learn, get inspired, and grow. That's how it's supposed to work. Fixing a victim mindset doesn't mean pretending the wound isn't there. It means you don't let it right. To the rest of your story, feel it, name it, then decide what you build with it. That's the whole game. Strength isn't the absence of feeling. It's knowing exactly what you feel and choosing what to do with it anyway. Number 2, the second compass is courage. And almost every man mixes it up with 2 things it isn't. Boldness isn't courage. Boldness is loud, and it often has no real target. Recklessness isn't courage either. Recklessness is boldness with no brakes, and it usually ends with a man mistaking a broken leg for a badge of honor. Real courage sits in the middle, action, aimed at something worth the risk. Think of a soldier under orders. The reckless one charges in with no plan and calls it brave. The scared one never leaves the trench and calls it smart. The courageous one moves forward anyway, not because he isn't scared, but because the mission matters more than the fear. Same with a decision you've been putting off for 6 months. Why do so many men confuse having an opinion with having courage? Because an opinion costs nothing. Courage costs something every time. You don't need a louder voice about what's wrong with the world. You need to do hard things on purpose, starting with the one thing in your own life you already know needs fixing. A man with a real purpose doesn't wait for permission to act. He does things right because the mission demands it, not because someone's watching. That's the whole difference between talking like a man and being one. Number 3. The third compass is discipline, and this one hides behind a nice house and a steady paycheck. There's a prison with no bars. It has a 2-car garage and a 30-year mortgage. Men walk into it on their own, lock the door themselves, and call it success. That's the trap almost nobody names. Comfortable enough that you never leave, empty enough that it eats at you every year you stay. Why does a man build his own cage? Because facing the truth feels more dangerous than staying stuck. Putting things off isn't laziness. It's a man protecting himself from something he's not ready to see. That the life he's living was never the plan. It's just the easy path he stopped questioning years ago. Nobody trapped him. He signed up for it himself, one easy choice at a time. Picture a deal where one side always takes the safe offer, every time. Because the safe offer never requires standing your ground. He never overreaches, never gets told no, never walks away with nothing. He also never walks away with anything worth keeping. That man loses nothing and wins nothing. Safe isn't a strategy, it's giving up with a better name. Same with a version of you that keeps picking easy over right. Comfort and legacy have never lived in the same house. Here's the part nobody tells you. Discipline was never about productivity hacks. It's the daily choice to protect what matters more than you protect your own comfort. And that shows up in small places. The state of your house says something about the state of your mind. A man drowning in clutter usually feels the same way inside. The friends you keep either sharpen you or dull you. There's no middle option. And the silence you're willing to sit in, instead of numbing it with your phone, a drink, or noise for the sake of noise, is where your best decisions actually get made. Weak men fill every silence. Strong men use it. Self-sabotage doesn't look like failure from the outside. It looks like a man who's technically fine, technically employed, technically married, technically present, and running out the clock on a life he stopped fighting for years ago. Nobody stages an intervention for comfortable. That's exactly why comfortable is the more dangerous trap. A man can fight a crisis. Almost no man fights a Tuesday that feels okay. We'll come back to what actually pulls a man toward comfort instead of growth, the biology behind it, and how modern life quietly messed with it. That's a whole video on its own. Hold on to that thought. Undisciplined men don't fail loud. They fade quiet, one easy choice at a time. Real men leave legacies. Comfortable men leave excuses. Number 4. The fourth compass is honor. And it's the one compass a man can't build alone, because it only exists in how other people see him when he doesn't know they're watching. Here's the test that gives it away every time. Does a man act the same way in the room as he does outside it? Does he talk about his wife the same way to his friends as he does to her face? That gap between the man he shows and the man he actually is exactly how much honor he has. Small gap, real honor. Wide gap, none at all. Think of a courtroom. A witness's reputation walks in before he says a word. If he's known for straight answers, the jury leans in. If he's known for gossip and showing off, every word he says gets discounted, true or not. Same with you. Every day, in every room you're not standing in, your reputation speaks for you, whether you're there or not. This is where honor stops being a nice idea and becomes the real foundation for the kind of man a woman can actually build a life with. Not the man with the smoothest lines, not the one who's mastered a script for the first date. The man whose word matches his actions closely enough that she never has to guess who she's getting on a random Tuesday. That's not seduction, that's preparation, because strong fathers build strong families. And that starts years before the wedding, not after it. Why does this matter more at 40 than at 20? Because by now, the gap between the man you show and the man you actually are has had 20 years to grow. Quietly, with nobody watching close enough to catch it. Talk about yourself when it's relevant. Then, stop. A man who has to keep telling people how honest he is usually isn't. Stay out of gossip completely. Not because it's rude, but because a man who trades in other people's reputations has already told you what he'll do with yours. A man doesn't need to announce his own integrity. The people around him will do it for free, or they'll say nothing at all. And the silence is usually the more honest review. Honor isn't what you say about yourself. It's what the room says when you're not in it. 4 compasses down: strength, courage, discipline, honor. If you've been honest with yourself in the last few minutes, you already know which ones you're missing. But there's one compass left, and it's the one that controls the other 4. Miss this one, and the 4 you just fixed will still pull you in different directions. And the last one, the one almost every man misses because it doesn't show up on a job application. And nobody compliments you for it at a barbecue. The 5th compass is wisdom, and it's not what you think. This isn't about being smart. Plenty of smart men are still ruled by whatever they felt like doing 5 minutes ago. Wisdom is about who's actually in charge. Every man has a will, a want, a pull, something in him that reacts before he's thought it through. The question that decides the rest of his life is simple. Who's in control of that? His impulses, the culture around him, or the man himself, answering to something bigger than his own mood? Here's the honest version of what's going on inside you. There's a part of you built for self-control, purpose, and truth. And there's a part of you still running on old habits, appetite, ego, whatever's easiest. The Bible called this the flesh against the spirit, 2,000 years before any modern theory tried to rename it. Paul wrote about doing the thing he didn't want to do and not doing the thing he knew was right. A war inside one man, written so exactly it could be about you last Tuesday. The heart is deceitful above all things, an old book warns, not because you're a bad man, because your default setting, left unchecked, will always talk you into what you want to hear. Why do you sabotage yourself, even when you know better? Because the loud voice inside you always sounds bigger than the quiet, honest one. It doesn't show up looking like weakness. It shows up as just this once, as I've earned it, as nobody would know. Wisdom is the discipline of recognizing that voice for what it is before you hand it the wheel. Fear God, not men. That's the whole hierarchy in 4 words. Picture a general standing over a map. Some soldiers want to charge, some want to pull back. Half the information is missing. A weak general goes with whatever feeling is loudest that morning. A wise one waits half a second longer, weighs what he actually knows, and gives the order that serves the mission, not the one that feels good right now. Fast isn't the same as right. A general who forgets that gets his own men killed. Same with the decision sitting in your inbox right now. The loudest option in your head is rarely the right one. This is the compass that resets the other 4. Strength without wisdom turns into rage looking for a target. Courage without wisdom turns into recklessness that gets people hurt. Discipline without wisdom turns into a rigid man nobody can stand to live with. Honor without wisdom turns into a show for other people instead of a standard for yourself. Wisdom is the one that checks the other four and asks, is this actually serving something bigger or just serving you? That's the whole system, not 5 separate goals fighting for your attention. One standard, 4 compasses feeding into a 5th one that answers to God instead of your own appetite. That's what Virtus meant the whole time. A man whose strength, courage, discipline, and honor all answer to something above his own impulses. You weren't missing motivation this whole time. You were missing the instructions nobody bothered to give you. 5 compasses, 1 word. The Romans never split the man from the virtue. That was never a lost idea, just a translation nobody handed you. You don't need 5 new personalities. You need 1 man, calibrated. Strength that protects instead of explodes. Courage that moves instead of just talks. Discipline that builds instead of hides. Honor that holds up in private the same way it does in public. And a will that finally answers to something bigger than its own appetite. That's not a self-improvement plan. That's Virtus. That's the man you were always meant to become. By the way, if this hit something in you, hit like and subscribe. This is the only channel building the whole man, not just pieces of him. Until next time.